Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Ignite. Tonight we have a special speaker, Pamela Hunter. She's spoke before and she's going to be speaking actually next week, I believe, as well. And you'll hear the topic in just a second about what she'll be going over. But I'm very happy to have her here. Pam has been with Young Living for almost 20 years. And there's only a few people that I know that if you want to know about Gary's true teachings and stories with Gary, Pam has a slew of them, and she's been on his right hand, learning, educating from what his teachings were. And so it's always a pleasure to hear Pam speak because she knows the real deal. So I'm very excited. And Pam, I know there's so much more about you. She's a yoga master and she has a heart gigantic. If you got to see her picture, just shows the true personality of Pam with the heart sunglass or the heart glasses. They were so cute. And so please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thanks, Stace. So Stacy's right there with me. We have traveled all over this world together through Young Living and have been very blessed by following our mentor and teacher, Gary Young, and now Miss Mary Young and the family. And we are all one family. So I have so much to share tonight that I don't really want to get caught up on me. If you want to, I don't do a ton on social media yet, but if you want to start following me, things are coming. I'm reinventing myself right now. So the heart glasses were all about my new focus, pun intended. I have an eye condition. I'm going to kind of tell you about it. So I'm starting to brand myself to really reach out to those that endure eye issues and things like that. So some of that will be in the presentation tonight, but most of it is education just to get through to you. But I have had a beautiful journey with Young Living, and that's because of all of us, not just because of one source. So let's just get started because I got lots to share, and I want to finish this presentation and make sure I cover all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will get going here. All right, can everybody see it? Presentation is Products of the Season Fall. So right there on the screen is a QR code, and that will take you to an ebook called Growth Factor, Products of the Season, that I did last year for Silver Retreat. And it's an overview of our supplements and some oils that has to do with the seasons of health and wellness. So we call it Products of the Season so that it reminds us that now is the time to start. So we're in the beginning. So when Stacy said, can you speak on October 3rd? I was like, yes, that is perfect timing. Fall just started. Let's get everybody motivated, empowered to take control of their body and their health starting now. So right now, I would love for y'all, if however you're sitting or listening to this, uncross your legs and put your feet on the earth and proclaim that you're going to take care of yourself starting now with this fall. We're going to talk heavily about the large intestines and things that go along with this season of fall. So with that, body awareness meditation we're going to start doing here in a moment. We're going to do an overview of this Growth Factor ebook, just tiny bit, and tell you some personal stories. We're going to support for the fall. This is part 1. Next week is part 2. Channels of eliminations. We're going to talk about that a lot because we got to start there in order to get healthy. This gut-brain axis and your vagus nerve, hydrating your colon, products to support your colon, and emotional support for the fall. So this is your second chance to grab this QR code and take a photo of that and get this book and save it somewhere. This is a beautiful way to walk through our products. It's also 100% compliant. So if those of you are creating content, this is a beautiful guide of how I did it so that it is compliant information. So here we go. Let's talk about fall. Oh, here's the disclaimer. Everything I share today is meant for education, not to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All right, so you guys can read the rest of that. Let's start with body awareness meditation. So whatever oils, I've got digestive oils around me. I'm going to take out some tummy jies right now. So take out whatever oil, and if you're around your oils, go ahead and prepare and get the oil of release if you have it. Hopefully you have it. Get that oil ready, and by the end of the presentation, you may want a little Idaho blue spruce as well. Hopefully we get that far. So I'm going to take my tummy jies, drop it into my hands, go ahead and rub my hands together, and take a scent tent. Nice. And feel that scent tent coming through as you breathe that oil in. Now ground your feet and prepare. Go ahead and sit upright if you're in a chair. You can be laying down if you want to lay down. Hold on, I got to pull it up. It went off when Stacy and I were messing around, and I've got to pull it up really quick on my phone again. Here it is. Otherwise I can just do it. I'm afraid I'll go off tangent if I do it out of my head, because I'll go too long, because I'll get into the spirit of things and then I will lose it. All right. So find your footing and feel your feet. Notice your mouth. Notice your temples, the forehead, the skin of your forehead. Notice your lips. Are they apart or are they together? Allow your teeth to be gently apart as you feel the inside of your mouth. Are you feeling wetness or dryness in your mouth? Take your tongue and move it and swirl it inside your mouth and create more and more saliva as you move your tongue around. Then allow your tongue to press against the roof of the mouth. Make a little sucking motion like you have a piece of hard candy in your mouth and you're sucking on that thieves lozenge. Now allow your tongue to rest down in its palate and feel the difference in your mouth. Digestion begins in your mouth with your saliva. Now, as you've created that saliva, go ahead and swallow a few times and feel the back of your throat as you swallow. Imagine that you have some type of food particle in your mouth that you've chewed up and you're swallowing it, and it's moving down your long intestinal tract, down the esophagus and into the stomach. Swallow a few times and feel that sensation. As this moves into the stomach, you feel a massaging type motion as enzymes excrete, as acids excrete to churn in your stomach. Closing your eyes and feeling this journey of the digestive system, take a breath here as you imagine all of these beautiful chemicals working to digest your food in your stomach. Moving through there to that tiny opening through the duodenum. I'm going to skip that word, it's not coming out. Into the small intestine. And as you venture into the small intestine, it's long and curvy. And we're allowing that movement, that peristalsis movement, to move any food particles, any saliva, anything that we're digesting through that small intestine in a peristalsis motion, grabbing all the nutrients that we can absorb from the food. And as it goes through this long, amazing pipeline called the small intestine, place your hand on the small intestine and just feel where that is for you. Feel your small intestine and all the absorption, giving it a blessing that it's absorbing. And as it moves through, it goes right into your large intestine, starting on the right side from your hip. So take your hand to the right side where your hip comes up, go across above your navel, and then down, maybe with the other hand, down the left side of the body to the groin. Maybe make this motion 3 times, up the right hip, across above the navel, and down towards the groin on the left side. Your ascending colon, your transverse colon, and your descending colon. And this is where our waste is separated. This is where we hope that our colon is hydrated. This is where the waste moves through the long tubing, goes to the end, and we feel some sensation through that perineum floor. And as you feel that sensation through your perineum floor, we feel our whole digestive system, from our mouth to our esophagus, to our stomach, through the small intestine, through the large intestine, through the perineum floor, and through the rectum. Notice any sensations that come to you as you take a moment to visualize your digestive tract. To visualize how it feels in your lower belly. Notice your breathing here. As you exhale, blowing out through the nose, your navel comes in, and as you inhale, your belly fills up with air. And as you exhale, your belly deflates. One more time. As you inhale, your belly fills with air. And as you exhale, your belly deflates. Bringing your awareness back to this moment where we're sitting together in this presentation. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes and open your eyes. That is a really short rendition of a body awareness meditation for digestion. Giving you a visual of really what we're talking about right now. So thanks for getting present with me. Pamela's personal experience with gut health. Okay, so I'm going to read you something first. A little experience that I wrote about many years ago. Initially, I experienced by personally using oils in every way, including inhalation, diffusing, topically down the hatch, up the yoni, and an inch back where the sun don't shine. In talking to my doctor here in the United States, he agreed with me that I should try anything I can to reduce the pain and inflammation. So being me and wanting to treat naturally and without risk of surgery, where I was given frankincense, balsam fir, and helichrysum with a doctor's supervision. Later that night, the cleansing began. Every gastronomical orifice spoke to me that night. I spent hours hugging the porcelain bowl, sitting on the porcelain bowl, and staring at the porcelain bowl, waiting for my next round of purification experience. My entire body shook with releasing sensations and simultaneous relief to be rid of the toxins polluting it. The gastronomical incident, I realized, had been made more dramatic by having eaten a New York-style pizza in Miami while on a layover on my way to Ecuador. Oddly enough, with every release, I felt blessed. The next morning, the fibroid pain had lightened and almost disappeared, and my body sang with happiness from feeling so clean and even pure. I had no desire to put anything into my new sparkling body. 2 days later, the oil of thieves. This gave me enormous energy and left me with a feeling of euphoria. I wanted to keep this feeling of high energy and purity, so I began to fast by only eating small portions of vegetables for the next 12 days. The yeast and candida in my body seemed to dissipate as I could see it release into the porcelain bowl. The brain fog was lifted. I stopped having food cravings. I lost excess weight, and miraculously, I felt better and better. When I came home, I decided to keep a clean, grain-free diet, eliminating sugar and dairy, with the exception of goat cheese. I dropped 30 pounds in 3 months. I stuck to a regimen of fish, chicken, vegetables, red potatoes only, and a small amount of fruit. My green Vitamix drinks with fresh veggies and our protein power meal, that was the original back in the day, from Young Living was a staple. I felt transformed. I began to live what I was to preach. I began to tell people I am a product of the product. That was in 2009. In 2008, I was in the first group to go to Ecuador to see what Gary was creating, and it was before any of the farm was there or anything was in place, and it was such an amazing experience. There's story after story. I could just do a talk on the stories from that. I actually told my son that at dinner the other night, and he was like, "Mom, I had no idea you went through all of that." But that wasn't it. So this that I just read you, I came back and I looked and felt amazing and kept looking and feeling amazing for a good 1.5 years. But in that 1.5 years that I felt so incredible, Gary had me traveling somewhere different every single month, and I was in different elements every single month of the rest of 2009 and 2010. And I'm just going to say that I feel like the stress of growing my business, because I was moving quickly up the ranks. I was so into my business at that time, and I just kept growing and growing. And all of a sudden, I got off of a Mediterranean cruise and I lost 75% of my eyesight. And what I have to say, I'm not going to go deep into that situation. I know there was a personal, emotional situation going on there, as well as physical. But it threw me into my time on the couch, and that's the picture you see there. And my time on the couch when I was losing vision, I didn't stop. The time on the couch didn't start until I lost my digestion. And what ended up happening is, in order to try to heal the eyesight, I lost my digestion. And what I mean by that is I was on all of our wonderful products with Young Living, living so healthy that I was literally bragging about not having any medication or pharmaceuticals for 15 years. And I did this and I did that. And I was speaking all around, telling my stories, and then bam, something happened. And there was no explanation, because when I went to the doctor for my eyesight, they did literally an 8-hour checkup with a specialist, did all this blood work, all these things, and nothing was wrong with me except I had inflammation behind my eyes. Weird. So I was on this mission to figure it out. And on my mission to figure it out, I was advised by doctors to go off of all of my support. that was supporting me through the years so that I could get to the root. And bam, when I did that, I went to the couch. I started shrinking, got down to 102 pounds, but my legs were swelling. That middle picture is a picture of my ankles. Oh my goodness, huge. You can't see even an ankle bone there. And all the way up, they were like club legs. And I wish I had a picture all the way down, but I don't know. I didn't take it. This is my friend Cindy Culpepper. And the reason why I have a picture of us there is we were at a clinic in Tucson, and she was a Young Living friend that I met once. And she reached out to me, and I was on this couch, and she said, "Let me help, let me serve you." And we went to a clinic together in Tucson, a homeopathic clinic, and we started drilling down to what was going on. Now you may say, why are you telling me this story? It has nothing to do with Young Living. It has everything to do with Young Living, because as soon as I went off of my support, I crashed. And the root had to come through, but it was so fast and so furious that I needed real strength, but I could not handle the pharmaceutical meditation. So if you keep following me, more of that story will be revealed through the upcoming months. It's not going to start until the new year sometime. I'm not ready yet. But just keep following, because I'm going to reveal all of that, because it's a huge story. But with Cindy's help, being Young Living and being a family, that's why I have that there, because we're a family. We take care of each other. And with Cindy's help, she introduced me to a homeopathic doctor that served me well, allowed me and tested me and worked with me on homeopathics and my true love for Young Living, essential oils and products. And it took me a long journey to heal, but I did it. And what I'm sharing with you today is what I do and what I paid attention to get motivated. The first time that I read to you in this book, totally motivated by Gary's teaching of pH balance, by Gary's teaching of ridding the candida in your body, continuously giving the body nutrients as you cleanse. He was a master in teaching us about our body, and I'm going to share some of this with you today. So, fall products of the season. This is a page out of that book that you have the QR code. This QR code takes you directly to this movement sequence for the large intestine. It's a very short 7-minute sequence. Check it out. The large intestine meridian is on the sides of your thighs. So right here, so as we're talking, take your hands along the sides of your thighs and just do little circles and rub up the sides of your thighs to stimulate the large intestine meridian. Okay? The best time to activate and stimulate and pay attention to your large intestine, whether you're taking supplements, you're doing oils, you're doing energy medicine, you're doing a sequence, is between 5 and 7 a.m. in the morning. Especially in the fall, starting now. So even if it's just a practice you do for the next few months, set your alarm from 5 to 7 a.m. You can stay in bed, set your snooze, hit the snooze, and for 9 minutes, do something to support your large intestine. Okay? This sequence will help you do that. Rubbing those points will help you do that. Okay? So the channels of elimination are extremely important. Often we jump into cleansing without looking at, are my channels of eliminations open? So I did heavy writing on this presentation, so you can go back here and you can read it and you can study it. I did that on purpose because the channels of elimination are called emunctories. It's critical that these emunctories, or also called drainage pathways, are up and running efficiently so that we can detoxify. So let's talk about a practice on a regular basis to get in a habit of doing to make sure all your emunctories or your channels of elimination are open and flowing, so that as you put in supplements and as you detox and as you do all these extra pieces, the simple normal pieces are in place. So liver and intestines remove solid waste, right? So the liver dumps in to the intestines. We got to make sure things are working. So get your beet juice in. Eat your artichokes. I love to make a bone broth with burdock root, or a vegetable broth, I should say. Sometimes I throw bones in there, but I also do vegetable broth with just burdock root, dandelion leaves, yellow dock, making sure my herbs go in there as well as my vegetables. For your large intestines, you're eating leafy greens and beans, anything fibrous. Now, I'm not talking about any disease in this presentation. This is not a gut health presentation. This is more about preparing yourself to cleanse. And so hopefully you know some of the basics, or you take a gut health course. I'm in an advanced gut health course. This is probably my 4th one. I just continue to sharpen the knife, right? Continue to learn. And if you have any issues in your large intestines that you know about, fiber can be a contraindication as well as a gift. So you got to find your balance. Kidney and urinary bladder eliminate liquid waste. So we're going to talk about hydration in a minute, and I'm going to give you some recipes for hydration. Lungs exhale gaseous waste. Part 2 next Monday is going to be all about breathing techniques and about the lungs. So come back next week and we're going to talk more about that, but you got a little bit in that meditation. Your skin eliminates toxicity through sweat. How many of us are guilty as it gets colder and colder that we just don't get out as much and sweat? So one of the things that I hope I'm getting for my birthday this weekend is an infrared sauna. Everybody keep their fingers crossed, and hope I get an infrared sauna, because I've really wanted one for a really long time. You can get those pop-up ones that are less expensive if you don't want a big one, but exercise, getting on my Peloton that's sitting right here staring at me, getting your sweat on helps open your channels of elimination. We hear a lot and we talk about the lymphatic system a ton, but it's actually a secondary drainage pathway. You got to make sure all these primary drainage pathways are functioning, and then the lymphatic. But it's a great practice, and we all need to be dry brushing. We need to be rebounding. We need to be cold plunging for that lymphatic system. And don't forget about your mucous membranes. Neti pot. I loved a neti pot with the salt, and I do put 1 drop of Melrose, or I'll put a drop of RC, or I'll put a drop of tea tree, and just 1 drop in the salt and neti pot to clear those mucous membranes. It's really a nice practice also to make yourself a nose spray. Maybe I'll add that to next week's presentation, because I love to do that and constantly do a nose spray, especially when I fly and I'm traveling, to open up and make sure that I'm not taking in more toxicity, that I'm letting toxins flow out. So our colon is not optimal until we get efficient with removing the waste and toxins from our body. This right here is the most important slide, and these are regular daily lifestyle practices. So let's apply some essential oil. Let's go to release. Release essential oil can help open your emunctories. Let's declare. Let's put our intention as we put on this release. Now, if your legs are open and you have a skirt on, rub them up and down the meridian points of the large intestines on the outsides of the thighs. If they're not, just place them with intention, maybe on your liver, on your pancreas and gallbladder, behind you on your kidneys, and just sweep it through your field so that you're thinking, my lymph is flowing. You may want to do the butterfly lymph on the neck. And as you apply it, say, I clear this channel. I am in perfect timing. So we're not going to doubt ourselves at all. We're saying, I am clear. I clear this channel and I am in perfect timing. Breathe that in. All right, the gut brain, I just combined those. The gut brain axis and the vagus nerve. I cannot talk about the digestive system without talking about the vagus nerve and the vagal tone. So it's really, really, really important that we, whoops, what did I touch? Really, really important that we look at the gut-brain axis, that bi-directional communication pathway from the brain to the gut. We know we've been calling the gut the second brain, but do you really understand how important that is linked to the vagus nerve? That's the cranial nerve that extends from the brain to the part of the colon that connects the brain to the gut. How many of us love cranial sacral therapy? Hello, that's a strengthening piece for the vagus nerve as well as all the energies in the body. We need to nourish the brain and the microbiome. So we eat whole foods that are anti-inflammatory. Homework number 1, look up anti-inflammatory diets. You look at them and see which one works for you. What food list works for you that's anti-inflammatory? And then rich in omega-3 fatty acids. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. The vagus nerve and stress regulation. It's really important that we strengthen this vagus nerve in the vagal tone. So next week is going to be linked to the lungs and the vagal tone. And we're going to talk about techniques to do this. The vagus nerve helps us go from sympathetic, that fight or flight, to parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. Now, you've heard these things, but do you practice them? So I'm here to help motivate you to practice them. We activate the inflammatory reflex. We communicate all clear to stop inflammation. So next week, we'll practice stress management techniques. So how do we support this? The foods in the diet part of this is so huge. So when I look at this and it says omega-3 fats, I immediately think, okay, am I eating enough fish, avocados, olive oil? I don't know about you, but olive oil, I need more of it. And the only way since I don't eat a lot of bread anymore, is to get it through my salad dressings that are homemade and things like that. And I find I'm just not getting enough. So I'm often supplementing with omega Jis, with our omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, you can read this: fermented foods, fiber, polyphenols. When I read polyphenols, immediately the phenols of essential oils come to me. It's a little different, yet think about your vitality oils here and think, am I eating foods, spices, maybe using essential oils that have those phenolic compounds like oregano, thyme, fennel, tarragon, basil? All right, there's a lot there that you can always go back to this, read it, and look over it more. How do you know your colon needs comfort and support? Notice my words there. Comfort and support are my favorite compliant words to use when I'm talking to clients, when I'm trying to serve. I'm not trying to cure, diagnose, or treat. I'm bringing comfort and support. And we got to find the middle in this Bristol stool food chart. And the first person that made me giggle over this food chart was my friend here, Stacy Kimbrell, in her book, Living Balanced. When I saw that chart for the first time years ago, I just called her, and I think I just called you and started laughing. Like, girl, you are nailing it because you are putting it in our face. And I have to give you credit for the first one that I knew in Young Living that just like put it in our face. And that's through your teachings and Gary's teachings. I started talking Pam's poop talk. Now, I'm not going to get into that whole talk, but I think it's important for you to know that a healthy human body, according to Gary Young, has BMs 4 times a day, 20 minutes after each time you eat. So immediately when you wake up, you should go, because you've eaten the night before and you went into rest and digest. So you wake up and you go. After breakfast, 20 to 30 minutes later, go. As long as it's easy to get out and formed and floats. Some people say sinks. I like it to float. So you can battle that. It's potato patata there. But I like it to float. It makes me feel like all the nutrients are out of there and it's just floating and hardly anything left in there. Now, then after lunch and after dinner. Now, online you'll find, and through gut health courses, they'll say anything like 2 to 3 times is really healthy. What if you're going only once a day? A lot of people say, that's just who I am. Your doctors will say, that's just you. Yeah, possibly. But if you implement all these tools, will you start going more? The jury's out. The only one that can decide that is you through your guess and check and trial and error. So I invite you to do a little bit more and see if you can find the middle. Hydrating, first step in my opinion, is hydrating. You, in this book that I have followed for years, this is actually my original copy before she upgraded it, Inner Transformations Using Essential Oils, Powerful Cleansing Protocols for Increased Energy and Better Health, Dr. Leon Deerdorf, I think that's how you say her name. Immediately when I opened this book to learn how to cleanse with our products, when it said, is your colon hydrated, I just went, oh, I'm constantly dehydrated. So that warm lemon water in the morning we all know about, but here is an electrolyte water recipe. Screenshot this, take a photo of it, go back to it later, this video later. This is a great recipe to drink all throughout the day to get some electrolyte water. If you feel like you're dehydrated, then go into a 3-day hydration protocol. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 3 consecutive days, 4 ounces of distilled water every hour on the hour, 4 ounces of electrolyte water every hour on the half hour. Drink that water, so you're drinking water every 30 minutes. It really feels good to do a 3-day hydration protocol. Then you can also do an electrolyte smoothie and add that in. So here's some tools for you for hydrating. How much water do we need to drink? Half our body weight in ounces is the normal. But if you're cleansing and you're using certain products, you gotta up that. So those of you doing raindrop technique on your family and friends, Gary used to tell me a gallon for every raindrop, immediately following the raindrop. Okay, so yes, half your body weight in ounces, but if you're doing more and you're using more product, you got to add the water in. Okay, so next. Okay, this is a page out of that booklet, that ebook that is there, and these are the products that you add to your normal mainstays in your life, your apothecary, as we call it. So our apothecary definitely has Life 9 on a regular basis. Everyone should be using pre and probiotics on a regular basis. Everyone in the world should be prebiotics and probiotics, with 90% of issues coming from gut issues in the world. There's over 65 diseases that are linked to the gut, to this area that we're talking about. So we have to support it. Here's the products that I have been educating for years, and it still baffles me that the people that come and listen to me educate do not get on an enzyme protocol or do not take the leap to make it an everyday practice. So I'm inviting you, I'm encouraging you, empowering you to make it an everyday practice. Stacy's going to put a couple links there at the bottom of this page that are on Gary Young's blog that talk about enzymes. There's 2 different ones. It's great information. Go there and check it out. But if you're not carrying around these little Essential Zyme 4 packs, I invite you to do so. Every day I go through at least half, if not a whole pack of these throughout my day of eating. Check out, these are Essential Zyme 4. We ramp up our enzymes, so hydration and then probiotics, prebiotics, and then enzymes. So we ramp those up. So every single morning, I take 1 of the Essential Zyme. So the Essential Zyme are these little caplets. Can you see them? This little one. Every morning this comes in my body. Throughout the day, these come in. And I usually carry 2 or 3 sheets with me because I'm handing them out to everybody I'm eating with. And then at night, I like to rest and digest with Detoxzyme. Now the latest bottles of Detoxzyme say that they contain wheat and soy in the fine print. It's not true. They do not contain wheat and soy. They are manufactured in a plant that may have wheat and soy. But to my knowledge, Young Living has told me that that was a mistake on the labeling and that they will be correcting that these are gluten-free. That is what I've been told. So I'm sticking with that because that matters to me. Let's talk a little bit about ICP Daily. I want that to be called Daily Fiber, but we can't call it that. But in this book, I put Daily Fiber in parentheses because it is not at all the same thing as ICP. They're very different. ICP Daily is your basic fiber. So if you are a body that can handle fiber intake, this is a great product for you. If you need help, like if you're on the Bristol poop chart and you're at the top having little hard poos, get your ICP Daily Fiber in. You need fiber. If you're at the bottom of that chart, fiber may be difficult. So you have to attune to what works for you in the time. We're going to talk a little bit about the cleansing trio later on, but ICP is a gentle intestinal cleanse that uses an advanced mix of fibers and premium essential oils to improve nutrient absorption, decrease the buildup of waste, and help maintain a healthy heart. Very different than having fiber for your microbiome. So really know the difference between ICP Daily and ICP, okay? I added over here Digest and Cleanse. This isn't in the booklet, in the ebook, because it wasn't out yet again. It was out of stock still. Now we have Digest and Cleanse. And if during that meditation that we did, if you stopped here and felt sensations up higher in your digestive tract, Digest and Cleanse is your first go-to for higher up, so that it helps with the use of essential oil capsule. It helps release there and excrete all those loveliness of those essential oils in your stomach. Yes, beautiful. So everybody is biologically and bioelectrically different. Gary Young. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. Gary Young never told us exactly what to do. Even when I was at my most challenged and I needed his help, he was there for me and he coached me through it, but he educated me and never told me an exact thing to do because he wanted me to learn and use my own inspiration, my own intuition, if that word works for you, the whisper, whatever the word is for you, really attune as you research and educate yourself about your digestive system as well as Chinese medicine and all of these products. 5-day nutritive cleanse upgraded. So the old school 5-day nutritive cleanse had Balance Complete in it. Probably still does on the website. I don't really care. I'm upgrading it for knowledge. And that is our Power Meal is fantastic. Our new improved Power Meal. So my choice is to buy it separately. And if you feel you need a nutritive cleanse where you need to bring nutrients into the body, this is where you start. The 2 bottles of Ningxia Red, the Power Meal, and the Digestive Cleanse. So you drink 1 to 3 ounces daily, or if you're really cleansing, you may do it at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 8 a.m. You may, wherever you want it, 3 times a day with your Ningxia. And then your Power Meal replaces 2 meals. And then your Digest and Cleanse, 1 capsule, 30 to 60 minutes before each Power Meal shake. And then a healthy dinner at one of your meals, usually the nighttime meal. So this is a really easy way if you're new to cleansing, you've never done it, you know you need to get your emunctories to open, you know you need to hydrate, and then you need a cleanse. This is where you would go. Okay? It's a great choice. Now, if you're ready for Cleansing Trio, you need to make sure your emunctories are working, your channels of elimination, you're taking care of your whole body. So you may take this entire year of 2023, 22 into 23, to just open your emunctories. I invite you to that. That's okay. Maybe that's what you do this year. Please don't do heavy duty cleansing, especially parasite cleansing, until you get everything else working and flowing. So listen to your gut feeling. Listen to your sixth sense, if you will, to say, what do I need right here, right now? What am I going to do? Am I just going to hydrate first? Am I going to pay attention to my large intestines and do all of this? Am I going to work through my emunctories each cycle using the growth factor products of the season book to help me? Am I going to implement some of the products in there that it shows me to get my body awakened? And then next year do Cleansing Trio? Or have I already done all that and I'm in a really good place and I'm ready to do Cleansing Trio? Let's talk about that. Cleansing Trio, I'm working right out of the recommendations from this booklet, The Inner Transformations Using Essential Oils. I am working right out of Living Balanced book, and I'm working, these references are at the end of the presentation, Ultimate Balance book for the Meridians. These are my 3 go-tos. And then the emotional book, oh, the cover is missing because I use it so much. The blue book, Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. These are my 4 major go-tos. Before I ever search online for things or anything, this is where I go. Because it's simplified and it's right here for me. So how do we do this Cleansing Trio according to experience and what I have done? I have followed this exactly and it has worked for me. And I'm getting ready to do this now, soon, after my birthday. So Comfort Tone. Comfort Tone has one of the most beautiful herbs in it for our digestive system, and that is Cascara. How do you say that? Cascara sagrada. Is that how I say it? I think it's pretty close. And it's full of psyllium husks, which is your fiber. So the way she says to do this, and I highly recommend looking at the book, and this is how I've always done it, is you start with your Comfort Tone capsule in the morning, the first day. The next day, take 1 capsule in the morning and another one at night. And you increase by 1 capsule a day, alternating day and night until you are getting 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. Now, some of us are already getting those 2 to 3 bowel movements a day, so you may just take 1. Now, remember that poop chart? You're going to refer to it quite often. So look it up and get a copy and print it off, or look at it in Stacy's book. Why? Because you got to watch your poo to see what your next step is. There's no perfect route for every person. We're all different. We're all snowflakes. So you got to watch your poo. So in the world that I learned from, with my mentor and teacher, I learned that we want to saturate the cells and then you back off. So I will take my comfort tone morning and night and keep adding until I get a little loose. And then I'm going to back off until I get the BMs where I want them before I ever add in the ICP. This is just my personal experience with this cleanse. Then when I get my BMs working the way I want and I'm like, yes, and I'm excited, maybe even desiring to take a picture of it, if you know what I mean, and getting that excited, then I add in 1 teaspoon of ICP in the mornings in addition to the Comfort Tone capsule. You gotta stir it into juice. I usually put it into the Ningxia Red. You stir it in and take it down. Don't let it sit there. It'll bulk up, okay? So you wanna get it down. It's not easy for everyone, so take your time with it. No cleanse that's really good should be really easy, if you will. Comfort Tone activates your bowel while the ICP adds the bulk. You can read the ingredients, and the ingredients will tell you all of that if you look up the ingredients in there. Then you do your essential zyme, or some people prefer using detoxyme for this cleanse. So you decide. I think it's important to have your essential zyme, but you may want to add detoxyme or your other enzymes as well, depending on which ones work really well for you. And you just make sure you take enough that keeps everything flowing and keeps your belly feeling good, okay? So how do you know how long to cleanse? You know how long to cleanse because you want to cleanse until you release the lining of your colon. So you release that, it's like a black stool that's tube-like that you release, okay? Now, as you do this, you're absolutely shifting your body. So my hopes for you are that you're making appropriate diet choice changes as well, maybe getting off white sugar, white flour, gluten, all those trigger foods that are high inflammatory. Some people don't like eggs because of inflammatory. Oranges, red meat. Some people need to eat red meat like me because I have anemia. So I need my red meat, but I buy really good grass-fed red meat. I even buy liver. So some people have to figure it out. If you're vegetarian, you're going to do something completely different. My whole motivation is to motivate you to start doing it, to actually take the step to do it. And I find so many times that we talk about these things, but we don't necessarily jump in. So hopefully some of this pointing you in the direction, talking you through it. For me, the cleansing trio at this stage takes about, it's taken up to 10 days for me to rid that. In years past, it's taking me more than that. So you do you and figure out how it works for you. So let's, in this last 5 minutes, let's clear the emotion behind the large intestine. So take out your release again. We're going to place it on the large intestine points, where if you take your finger in your navel, 2 inches below is your virus point. Out from your virus point on each side about 1 inch are your large intestine points. We're going to take that and put it on that point. So take a few drops, take your hands there, and place it on your large intestine points. And repeat after me. I like to close my eyes. I like to ground my feet. Repeat after me. I choose to let go. I choose to let go of the trauma behind, the trapped emotion of fear of success. Fear of success. That no longer serves me in a positive and productive way. I'm going to say that again. Repeat after me. I choose to let go of the trauma behind, the trapped emotion of fear of success. I choose to release the trauma behind the trapped emotion of fear of success that no longer serves me in a positive and productive way. No longer serves me in a positive and productive way. I'm going to say the whole thing. You can say it with me or do it right after me. I choose to release the trauma behind the trapped emotion of fear of success that no longer serves me in a positive and productive way. Then you, I choose to release the trauma behind the trapped emotion of fear of success that no longer serves me in a positive and productive way. Hold that point as you breathe. You'll know when you can release it. You may have to sit there for a little bit, but we're going to move through this. Then I'm going to take out my Idaho blue spruce. If you don't have that, take out your frankincense, northern lights, black spruce, any beautiful, elevating, high vibrational oil. Take that. And then for this exercise, sometimes I use the trauma points, but for this, I'm going to take it right to my heart. Ooh, I'm feeling a hand on my heart and a hand on my back of my neck. Notice how I'm just going where I have the inspiration. And I'm going to repeat this affirmation 3 times. I am in perfect timing. I accept awareness. I am in perfect timing. I accept awareness. I am in perfect timing. I accept awareness. And then rub your hands together. Taking a deep breath in. Now there's a little bit more to emotional releasing. We can always talk about that. There's like 12 presentations in this one. And then there's a recap. So as we complete this little overview here, you choose your path right now. I gave you awareness into a bunch of techniques and tools. A body awareness meditation, and I can post that, a script, on social media for you. A large intestine movement. I hope you got that QR code. If not, just go to youtube.com/Pamela Hunter. Go to the large intestine movement sequence and practice. Open your emunctories, your channels of elimination. Easy way to do that. Declare it with your release oil. Rub your thigh meridian up and down your legs. And then work on all the other organs. Right? Strengthen your gut-brain axis, which we're going to talk heavily about next week. Using our breath as one of the tools for our lungs. Looking at the food list and being aware. Hydration. If you walk away with anything today, I hope you start drinking more water. I love my stainless steel cups from Young Living to hydrate. Daily support. Choose the supplements that you feel best support you for your large intestine, for your intestinal tract. Your pre and probiotics, your enzymes, your different cleanses that we have. Ningxia Red itself is supportive as we have the Ningxia sale going on right now. So October 1st through the 5th, if you watch this later on, this is 2022, it's 15% off. Grab it. Cleansing. Decide if you need a nutritive cleanse or a detoxifying cleanse. Mark your calendar and set the cleanse into motion. Reach out to us for any support you need for your cleansing. You can DM me, you can PM me. I'm sure Stacy's there for you. Danette is there for you. Your sponsors, your Diamond and Above leaders. And most of all, in this last part, is check in with your emotions. I know in my personal experience that why I became so close to the Young Living family and to Gary Young's teachings is that it wasn't just about the physical. He taught me how to work with the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and the social. That emotional piece to what we hold in our bodies has to be worked on. And it's continuous. I have appointments with my person for neuro emotional technique for the next 2 weeks to work on my emotion, even though I know how to cleanse the emotion or clear it, just like we did. Working with somebody that can help you through the emotional piece to what you're holding on to is such a huge part of the cleanse. So you choose your path out of this list. And remember, this is just for educational purposes. I shared a lot about my own journey here and there. Basics to get started with cleansing, but some of you are ready for that big leap into cleansing. And some of you are ready to back up, do a little breathing, open your emunctories, and hydrate. Where are you? Thanks for letting me educate. Thanks for listening to this hour, and we will move forward.
Pam, thank you so much. Obviously, this is amazing information, and we do have the replay. There's people asking this, so the replay will be wherever you learned about this call tonight, and then always going to be on Splash. I've been putting the links in here throughout, and the last couple links are all the links that Pam talked about, and even the large intestine sequence for rubbing. So just go back and look at that real quick, and then when we post this link on Splash this week, we'll make sure that all the links that Pam has available for us, we'll make sure that they're there in the comments as well. So thank you again. Please come back next week with Pam teaching on cleansing for the season of the lungs. Is that correct, right?
Yes, and we'll talk a lot about vagus nerve.
Vagus nerves. And we'll get started in just a few minutes with our business portion of the call, but we'll stop this recording, and thank you very much, and stay on the line.